insane, but he's got new hair. Virginia is a witch and she farts in her chair. Jason is a spaz who's got an old man's ass. Welcome to the After the Show podcast.
All right, here we go. Welcome to the KVJ After the Show broadcast for Wednesday. So nice to have you all here.
Oh, man, it is great to be here.
Yes, it is, isn't it?
Woohoo!
I'm loving today's Wednesday show.
You are? Okay.
Great fun.
No. It's been very informative.
Except for the burpees part, it was great.
That did suck, man. Me and Virginia are
Yeah.
struggling from them burpees. We did a minute of burpees and we can't move.
I was like, I'm not in that bad a shape. Yeah, I am.
Burpees do take you out. All
Good
respect to
Lord.
burpees.
I'm trying to get back into shape, so this is a good little icebreaker.
Yeah.
You gonna keep doing them at home?
Probably not burpees, but I will be doing a form of exercising, yes.
Okay. All right. You're, I know, trying to get in shape for your snack pack show. It's going to be coming up at the Crawfish Festival.
There ain't nothing more pathetic seeing someone my age throwing up and not being able to finish a minute-long song. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
gotta get this fat ass into shape.
Performing is hard.
It is hard.
Y'all jump around, y'all dance, you sing.
It's a workout.
It's a workout, and you can tell the rockers that keep up with their physical fitness and the ones that don't.
No, it is a massive difference. Just the comparison. You look at Bruce Springsteen, who's 73 years old and is still knocking out 3-hour shows.
Which is amazing.
It
I mean,
is
that's,
amazing.
That's the same shit Taylor Swift is doing, who he's twice her age.
Right.
Yeah.
Or more than twice her age.
Yeah.
Right. Just the fact he's holding up. But he takes amazing care of his body. He's in the gym every day. He watches what he eats. You know, that's the one thing. And that's what you do. And that's why, to me, I get so much more respect for Bruce Springsteen and his craft than I do for Vince Neil from Motley Crue, who just doesn't take care of his body. To me, it's a privilege to be able to take money from people to perform for them. But if you're going to have that privilege, you have to earn it. And Vince Neil, that's why I would never pay another dollar to see Motley Crue, because to me, it's disrespectful. Bruce Springsteen, I love Motley Crue's music a lot more than Bruce Springsteen's. I would easily buy a ticket to see Bruce because I respect what he's doing. He cares about the fans and putting on a good show.
Well, especially if you're going to be jumping around a little bit, you got to be a little sort of. That's what Outkast does, and that's how you get your ass into shape. That's what I did last year, and that's Twigs from the Snack Pack said. Outkast, they got a producer, or they got somebody in their camp. He makes them run. And they have to rap the song while they're running. And if they fuck up a lyric, they have to start the whole process over again. And you're not done until you get the whole thing. That's what we did for the Snack Pack last year, and it gets you into shape really quickly.
It should go
does.
hand in hand. You look at professional athletes that are out there, and I put it on the same level. No, it really should be. You have to be in the physical shape to perform whatever your craft is. And you have to be in a certain level of physical fitness to be an on-stage performer. If you can't and you're not there, then don't go out. If you're not in shape and you're gassed, you're not going to play on a basketball court or a football team or something like that. You got to have a level of fitness.
It just looks shitty.
It does.
Yeah.
What if they could replace Vince Neil with Bruce Springsteen? Would you go to that Motley Crue show?
I don't know if that would work.
And I don't know if Nikki Sixx from Motley Crue would like it. Nikki Sixx is a Nikki Dix. That guy is a dick, man. I just watched the whole special of the feuds Nikki Sixx has gotten into with people.
Yeah.
He's a pretty lippy son of a gun.
He is. He's a lippy dude. He's got to take out his angst somewhere because he's sober now. So he's, got to.
So he's a sober dick?
He's angry.
Yeah, he's angry.
Thirsty.
He's angry that he's sober. So he's got to fight with somebody. I mean, come on. I got a bunch of emails from stuff on the regular show today. I always like to have you guys be a part of it. We had got a message from Joe earlier. He listens to us in Oklahoma. We were talking about the bill in Florida to start school later for teenagers so that they would be able to try to get the 8 to 10 hours. And he said that they do that there, where they had passed that bill and they're now doing it. And he said the kids and parents love it here. It doesn't cause any problems with the after-school activities, because that was one of the complaints that came up. They're talking about, hey, how are we going to do the busing schedule? What about extracurricular activities, family dinners, kids doing homework, parents' pickup schedules? So he says in Oklahoma it's not a problem. And then Craig says here in California, they moved the school time to later, and kids just stayed up later and didn't get any extra sleep time. But you could see that happening too, because that was the other fix here was, okay, if kids need 8 to 10 hours, move their bedtime up. Now, some people do argue and say, well, yeah, but their clock is set differently, and that's not realistic. And
is that how the scientists or the nutritionists and the
it was the rebuttal I heard to it. Yeah, when they said just have them go to bed earlier, and they're like, yes, but their biological clock. And I did that experiment when I was in college. And it was kind of interesting because they said if you want to find out where your algorithm is set, you stay up until you get tired, you go to bed. You do that for a week, and you see naturally where you start to go to bed and what time you wake up. And I was going to bed at 3 a.m. and I was waking up at noon, and I felt great.
You have
I
to
needed
do it
9
with
hours.
no alcohol, no
Sure, yeah.
craziness. Just do it, just going to bed and waking up naturally.
Yeah, my body won't be able to sleep good if I have alcohol in my system. I'll be able to fall asleep.
That's
but
biological fact.
Never will stay asleep with alcohol in the system.
It's amazing. I had some cocktails one night over the weekend, and I've been trying to get your sleep. And I think I'd lay down 9 hours. I woke up tired.
Yeah.
That to me was a statement of how much I'm getting to the point like any alcohol just wrecks my freaking sleep. It's a nightmare. It's terrible.
Alcohol is you do have to kind of weigh out your next day.
It does.
Is it worth drinking right now?
Well, and I had heard Richard Branson had said something. His motto was, I don't want to steal the joy from another day for what I do tonight. It's not worth it. So that's what he always considers, saying, okay, I could have that other drink or that other 2 drinks, but tomorrow I'm going to lose how many hours for just a small little bit of that enjoyment today.
I don't like when rich dicks try to be all wise. Fuck you, Branson. It's so great to be so easy to Yoda when you've got billions in your account.
Yeah. But yeah, I see that. It's somewhere in your 40s it happens, and it just every year it gets tougher and tougher. So if you're in your 20s, enjoy your drinking, because it gets harder as you get older. Unless you're Virginia, then it's always easy.
I don't think she does get affected. I've seen her drink
she does
barrels
come in
of...
here, but look at her on Monday. She's like,
I did.
I need some food, babe.
But that's because she went 3 days in a row.
I did.
Kevin, I've seen her drink barrels of vodka and wine, and her take an 11-hour, quote, nap. Do you remember when we came back from St. Augustine in that RV? You got turned, and I swear to you, we hit so many potholes, and she didn't fucking wake up once.
I slept like a baby. I love the motion of the RV. It put me right to sleep like I was
Rocked you like a baby.
Like I was in a cradle.
I looked over little angels swimming around her head. Ooh, that real peaceful. I was so jealous. And you got turned the night before.
And you got COVID that day.
I did.
Yeah.
I didn't sleep at all.
You went in opposite directions.
We were together, basically attached at the hip for like 24 hours.
Yeah.
He comes out with COVID. I come out with the best night's sleep of my life.
It was quite remarkable. I think about it often.
That is pretty unreal. Pretty unreal. And on the school issue, Mata said, I always wondered about the timing here in the U.S. Back in Guyana, where I'm from, primary school, kindergarten to 6, started at 8:30 a.m. and finished at 1:30 or 2 p.m. And secondary, the high school, started at 9 a.m. and finished at 3. We had a 1-hour lunch break, too, and also at 10:20 a.m. we had a 15-minute break. I believe that this time played and still continues to be a good factor in how these students turn out. There are no incidents of gun violence in our schools, knock on wood. We as students were overall very happy. So, it sounds like many different places have different strategies on how they do school. And, I guess... who knows? What is the right thing? It'd be nice for us to find out what that is.
I love when they start later and they stay later. That's just me.
Yeah. That's what the pediatricians are at least saying right now is the ultimate benefit. Maybe we just try to start our world too early.
And I forgive me if I have asked this question before. Mm-hmm. Do kids still get down with them Flintstone vitamins? Because I thought they were delicious.
Rocco does. I give him a Flintstone vitamin every day because he needs iron.
Okay.
And not all kids' vitamins have iron in it. He actually had an iron deficiency, and the Flintstones Complete with Iron is one of the few that's readily available.
You said pediatrician. I always think Flintstone vitamins when I hear that. But if I was to eat a whole, I don't know, like if it was Skittles, a whole handful, a whole pocket full of Flintstone vitamins in one sitting, would I die? Or do I just get too much vitamin?
You might get sick.
But you don't die, though. I'm only asking these questions. I have no idea.
I don't think you would die, but hey, I'll bring a bottle in tomorrow.
Yep.
Oh, fucked up.
Let's ride the pony.
You want the bird to die?
No.
Fuck this noise.
I'm just kidding.
But did you guys like those Flintstone vitamins?
Never had them.
Really?
No.
Oh, Fat Kevin would have loved oh my gosh. Loved them.
My mom would always get the vitamin C and the tablets, and that was really good. And I would eat those like candy, but then I forgot if you ate too many, you shit your pants.
Okay, that's what I was waiting.
I think that's with any vitamin. If you eat too many, you will shit yourself.
Especially the vitamin C. But what a terrible look to be a fat kid with shitty drawers. Like it's just really hard to pick up dates.
Undateable.
It was just-
Vitamin crap. Oh, these are good. These vitamins are delicious.
I forgot.
So that would be what would happen if I ate a whole bottle full of Flintstone vitamins. You crap your pants.
Yeah, I think you'd have an upset tum-tum.
Okay.
And then I think you would make a mess.
And then it kind of passes through your system.
Yeah, I don't think you would die, but I don't know. Google it.
Kevin will have an 11-page email. Oh my gosh, you will die if you eat Flintstone vitamins.
I mean, I realize that you can die drinking too much water, that anything will kill you.
You're right.
You're
right.
Too much of anything, I
That's
think,
true.
will kill you. That's just the way it goes. Mary Lou, we were talking about Yelp reviews. They came out their list, top 100 restaurants in Florida based on Yelp reviews. And then we also talked about restaurants that get bad reviews, or at least those inspector reviews when places get shut down. And Mary Lou said, Yelp reviews, the value is actually in the responses from the business. Because we were asking, is there even any value in this? How do you know you can trust them? And this is interesting because she said, if you go to the Yelp reviews and the restaurant is active on the Yelp reviews and interacting with people, that will tell you if they're truly a customer-focused business or not.
I've seen that before, too, where they
Yeah.
will answer the negative reviews and they'll be really polite for the first 7 back and forth. And then by the 8th one, like, fuck you. Don't come back.
At a certain part with people, you got to be like, sorry, just don't come back and fuck off.
Well, we've had that before where someone's had a complaint about the show. You try to address it, and they all they want to do is fight. You're like, all right, whatever.
That is true.
You win.
Some people just want to see the world burn, make trouble for others. Some people just want to kick you in the face. That's just how some people are. And I think a lot of those people love leaving reviews for restaurants.
I'm just saying, and of course, only a Sith speaks in absolutes here, but I have noticed that somebody who leaves a lot of negative Yelp reviews and then they have it on their Facebook, and they're not considered somebody that does, they have a show where they're doing critiques. They're just there to give fucking negative reviews. I find them to be kind of unhinged a bit in my time.
I agree. I think if you're spending all your time just talking about how every restaurant is bad, it's probably not the restaurants. It's probably more you.
I'm not saying
Yeah,
saying you didn't have a bad experience, but we're talking like 7 paragraphs deep about how this restaurant wronged you, as if it's a manifesto or something.
They'll leave like a 2-star review, and then they'll say in their description the things that went wrong. But you're like, okay, well, that's not that bad. Like, what are you talking about?
Well, they destroyed the restaurant because they didn't like the waiter, and they go, the food is really, really good, but I'm giving them a 1. So you're hurting the guy or the woman that helps with the food, and you're basing on that one waiter experience.
Right.
I don't think that's cool.
Like, people are going on, I'm reading some of these, and they're saying, oh, the restaurant was noisy. I couldn't hear my people at my table. So they leave them a 2-star review for that. Well, you're penalizing the restaurant because there's a lot of people there enjoying the food. You know, if you don't like to be in a crowded, noisy restaurant, then go someplace that doesn't have as good of food. Because when you have a good restaurant with great food and it's filled with people, it's going to be a little noisy, you 88-year-old grandma. Like, don't punish the restaurant for being popular. That makes no sense.
Yeah, to me, the value of a review, you have to read between the lines, and it does say a lot about the person who posted it, and you've got to take that into consideration. Are they a reasonable person? Are they a complete asshole? And there are people out there clearly like that. And I thought this was kind of interesting on Your Tango. They were talking about signs that you are a really angry person. And some people are just like that. And if this is you, you might want to check yourself and say, I got to get it under control. They said the 5 signs that you are a really angry person. You have at least one argument per day with someone. They said that is pretty much the quota. If you got an issue, and angry/asshole.
Yes.
Once a day, you're having an argument with somebody, and then you think it's them, not you.
That does happen, man.
People are
It
just
does.
assholes. No, you're the asshole.
No.
You're the one fighting every single day.
If you're going around and having drama with all these different people all the time, guess what? It's not them. It's you.
Another one is you drive like an angry person. You act like you're the most important person on the road. You're the only one who knows the right way to drive. You cut people off, or you frequently honk your horn or give people the middle finger constantly in traffic. May not be them, and may be you.
Yeah, I mean, you're going through life angry. You're getting in your car and you're aggressive. Like, that's a personality type.
Well, I think what happens is there's a lot of anger that goes on in someone's life, and when they get into traffic, it's just it's kind of like an outbreak of anger. It's kind of it really just kind of throws you into that hot pool of anger.
Yeah.
Your primary sense of humor is sarcasm.
So that's a funny thing. People think they can get away with saying whatever the fuck they want and go,
I'm just joking.
I'm just being sarcastic. I think your mother's a fucking whore. Come on, fuck her. I'm being sarcastic. How dare you call my mother a whore? But you know that kind of person?
Yes.
They really are an asshole, and then they tag it with, I'm just kidding, or I'm just being sarcastic.
Yeah, take a joke. And
You
then
don't
they
know my
spin it-
personality.
They spin it on you. And again, the one thing I'm noticing with this too, it's always someone else. It's never them. It's like
Right.
you can't take a joke. So it's your fault, not me being an asshole. It's that you just don't have a good sense of humor.
Meanwhile, as soon as you say some shit back to them, well, fuck you, I'm just kidding. They get mad at you
Yeah.
for calling.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Another sign you're an angry person, you curse more than most people.
The fuck does that mean?
I know. I think it's how people curse more than the fact that they do curse.
I agree. If
There's a
I'm like-
tone in cursing. There's a way to use cursing that is accentuating humor, and okay, that's funny. But then if people are using curse words to paint more negative and put more emphasis on negativity,
Kevin's a
that's
stupid fucking bitch.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. That's
That's-
different than going, oh, this motherfucker got a pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is different.
what the fuck you doing?
Yeah, it's different.
Yes.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah, I look at the cursing differently. And the other one is if you've lost faith in friends. You may feel like people betray you, or may tell yourself that people are idiots. But what you need to do is take a hard, cold look at how your own anger may be negatively impacting your friendships.
These are good. It takes the work, though. It takes the person that's willing to look at themselves and go, man, do I start drama? Am I kind of nasty to everybody?
You know what I think, honestly? I think more people need to get offline and go out into nature and meditate. And when I say meditate whatever form you think that is, whatever gets your mind at peace. I just think we have a spiritual deficit in the
Yeah,
world.
it
I feel like
is,
we're so
yeah.
busy and being online and constant. I just see with people, and with my family, with my friends. I don't think we're out in nature. I don't think we're quiet enough.
No doubt. There's been not only news in the world, but the one Wall Street Journal poll that I read yesterday on the show. It does speak to people not being patient with others. The lack of empathy. I think that was the one that really jumped out at me, was how empathy has dropped since 1998. I think we're 80% where people felt they were empathetic to others. in 98, and now it's what, like 34%?
Empathetic, spreading kindness,
Yeah.
giving compliments and thanking people when maybe you don't have to, thanking somebody who really can do nothing for you. You know, like I see people all the time, like walk past, like people that are helping them, doing things for them, and they don't even say thank you. Like, what the hell's the matter with you?
Yeah.
If you're out there just taking, and spreading yuck, the world don't like that.
And I know people get annoyed with me when I constantly bash social media or technology and all that. And I think a lot of it is really, really good. I just have seen it in my personal life where people who have been angry that were online all day, constantly just not really going outside that much, just staying indoor and kind of festering with things that they can't control. I've seen them quit that and kind of go out into the world and out into nature, and that their personality has changed on a level I can't even describe. So I've seen this happen with more than one person. So I speak about that because I think it's important. I think it's a matters of the heart issue for me. I think we just get kind of caught up in the online social media world, and it makes everyone think everyone hates everybody and everything's way more terrible than it really is. Go out and touch some grass. Smoke some grass.
I think we all need to be personally aware of our current asshole number, because I think we all have the tendency to be an asshole. And where is your number right now? Are you high on the asshole scale? And I know a lot of people are going, well, fuck them, man. It's their problem, not my problem.
Well, you would be a 10 on the asshole scale.
Exactly. And if people would care more, saying, I don't want to be an asshole jerk, I'd like to be a nicer person. If we would start with that, and then if you had awareness of where your asshole ranking might be right now, and if we all just took measures to try to lower that, the world would be such a better place.
Big time. Kind of, we always talk about we want that percentage over people's heads of whatever stat you wish you knew about. It'd be cool if you could just walk down the street and go, he's got a 93 asshole rating. Oh boy, stay away from that fuckface.
And it does go up and down. Look, I have moments where, I catch myself like, dude, you're being kind of an asshole, man. Bring it down.
Everybody can be.
Yeah.
Everybody is an asshole at one point, many points in their life.
Right.
It's a matter if you get off of the asshole island.
But you shouldn't wear it like a badge of courage, as some people do. Be like, yeah, I'm 100% on the asshole scale. I fucking love it.
Just speak my truth and fuck you if you don't like it. Yeah, she's a whore. Your mother's a whore. What? No.
I lost my cool the other day in the optometrist office because they didn't call me to tell me that they had dropped our insurance. We have pretty crappy eye insurance. Like, it's not a really great one, but I pay for the vision insurance every month because Magnolia wears contacts. I wear glasses. Like, we use it. So we had gone to the eye doctor. We waited 2 months to get this appointment, by the way. 2 months. And we go there, and nobody had bothered to tell us that they dropped our insurance. And I was like, all right, well, why didn't y'all call us to tell us you no longer take our insurance? And they're like, oh, sorry. I was like, all right, well, this ain't starting good. And then the guy
so they apologize, and
but he said it like, "Oh, sorry, we just didn't realize." But they knew because they dropped it January 1st. They made a concerted effort to stop doing business with this company, and then the guy's like, "Well, your appointment today is going to be $380, and if you want, you can submit it to your insurance and see if they give you any money back." And I'm like, normally this appointment is $35 and it's covered by the insurance. And then we get free pair of glasses covered by the insurance. So I was like, you know what? Keep it. I don't want it. We're leaving. And we left.
There was a scene.
It was a scene. I was pissed. So I'm like, why don't you call somebody and tell them that you don't take my insurance anymore? You knew you dropped it.
Okay, Kev, so where's Virginia on the asshole? She made a big scene. They made a mistake, but it's probably not. What do you think?
That's a tough one because I think there's a separation between you're being an asshole and you have a deserved right to be angry. And especially now, the 2 times over the last 2 weeks that I probably had an asshole moment, it was because of some issues with customer service, and they were blowing it.
They were blowing it, and they were mad at me because I didn't want to pay $350 when that appointment is usually $35.
Right, and so I don't think that you're necessarily an asshole because you become angry because things things aren't going your way. It's just then, how do you treat people because of it? And then do you take that anger you have and pour it onto somebody else who doesn't deserve it?
Well, it's hard too, especially if it's something like that is so annoying.
It's so annoying because they could have called me
Yeah.
and told me. They knew that I've used my insurance there at the same place for many years. They knew they dropped it as of January 1st, and they didn't call anybody, and it pissed me off because making a time in the day when I can go with Magnolia and both of us have a free hour to get an eye exam and get the glasses and get all that, like, that's a pain.
What was your asshole moment, Kev, that you felt like you were an asshole, but it might have been justified?
Yeah, there were just a few things that strung together. I had one with a business, probably about 4 or 5 frustrating things that had happened. And by the end, because I had been drinking too, and so I think by the end, I had, kind of finally had it, and
Sure.
I kind of lashed out a little bit with my frustration, and then the next day I'm like, I calmed down. I'm like, yeah, it sucked. I think there were a lot of things that were wrong, but why you let yourself get so bent out of shape? And then I had something similar to what Virginia had, where I got a run around with 2 companies that weren't speaking the same language, and it was on them, and it was a tough customer service situation. Like I said, I think you become the asshole when you don't recognize that and let that anger and frustration go, and you unrighteously pour it onto somebody else who didn't deserve it.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I kind of feel too. I mean, someone can be an asshole to me. If they come back and are sincere about being an asshole, I almost can argue sometimes our relationship levels up. Because we all are assholes, and then they have the humility to say, hey, I was being an asshole. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That to me,
Be that.
That's a redeeming thing for me.
That squashes a lot of things.
It does. For
you can
me personally.
Yeah, and I try to do that. If I was a little off, and I try to always be in the right moment, right frame of mind, but that I get bent and twisted too. And I try to immediately apologize. Say, man, I was carrying around frustration. I was bent, twisted. I was a little hammered, whatever it might be. That
Bent, twisted, hammered, frustrated.
Yeah, that wasn't right, man. I came across the way I wouldn't want to come across. So I apologize for that. And that'll diffuse a lot of issues.
For a lot of people, I think. Well, there's some people they'll
We're human. You're only human, man. You're going to have moments of frustration and bad moments that you're going to say things you're going to regret and be like, gosh, I wish I hadn't felt that way in that moment.
Everyone's an asshole, Virginia, even Mother Teresa, so I'm told.
Yeah, don't you say there's some behind the scenes story of her that makes her look real mean?
Every time I bring her up, someone says to me, Bert, stop talking about her. She's an awful person. I'm like, fuck.
Mother Teresa was awful. There's no hope for me.
Just Google the dark side of Mother Teresa, and then you all can do your own judgment.
Damn.
One person wanted to know about having an argument every single day. What about if the arguments are with the same person? Your wife. Am I the asshole?
Well, that's a different situation, I feel like.
You're arguing with the same person. Yes, you have a toxic relationship.
Yeah, it's a terrible relationship.
And maybe you guys would be better apart, because if you're together and you're miserable, that's no way to spend your life.
No, it's not.
Yeah, I think it's when you have 9 different issues with 9 different people. Like one of the people I was telling you about that had all of those horrible negative reviews, which was an alarming amount, I thought. I started doing a little deep dive. This person ended up having 6 or 7 different restraining orders with different people.
Wow.
So clearly there was something going on there.
Right.
They're busy.
They're just angry.
Yeah.
Damn.
It is a pattern. And on the restaurant tip, somebody'd be like, oh, man, I saw this. There's some drama at the Bagel Boys in Stewart. Seems like Dennis hasn't been treating his employees very nicely. This was posted on Facebook. I guess the employees had shut down the bagel cart. And they said, blame the owner, Dennis. Our team quit because this guy told me he doesn't give a fork what I do for our customers. Shame. I mean, they wrote this all over this guy's bagel wagon. So, with any review, you're like, go wagon. You're like, is this warranted? I mean, Dennis, keep your place clean. Do your job, ass.
Gosh, I want a bagel wagon so bad.
Yeah.
Bagel wagon sounds awesome.
It does.
Went off on his bagel wagon.
Some people do that now. They'll quit and they'll do a whole big old thing. There was that
Yeah.
one guy who I think performed a song as he quit.
Okay. They want to quit in big ways.
Yeah, it went viral, Virginia.
It's classy.
Got a question here from Michael. Wanted to know, just wanted to check in, Virginia, to see how your sober friend is doing. You were talking about how her husband was trying to get her to have some alcohol because she was more uninhibited in the bedroom. I believe the last time you mentioned her fuckwad of a husband was trying to have her start drinking and smoking weed again. Did that happen? Did you or her hire a hitman yet?
She did not drink. She also did not do any drugs like he wanted her to. She's kind of standing her ground and waiting a little bit. She's got one kid, my kid's age. She's got 2 other kids behind that. And she's getting her ducks in a row. She's going to therapy. Gosh, therapy should have happened yesterday. I'll call her and find out how that went.
You have that on your calendar.
Well, no, I know the date. I have it in my head.
Wow.
Yeah, I knew the date of the therapy. So, yeah. She was going to tell the therapist everything. But the therapist doesn't like her husband either because he used to go to the therapy and tell the therapist how to do her job and say everything that was wrong with his wife to the therapist. And he's like, well, I have a psychology degree. I know this, this, this. And the therapy's like, no, dude, sit down. You're a psychopath.
Yeah.
So the therapist was going to be able to hopefully give her some good advice about what to do. And I'm like, look, you need a really good divorce attorney. Because he is psycho. He is going to fight her.
Right.
But she's got to put this together and take her time. It's going to be 3 years before all of her kids are out of the house.
Okay.
So she's got 3 years to get her act together.
So check in with us in 3 years?
Yeah, we'll have an update show.
Yeah.
I don't think she's brave enough to leave until the kids are all out of the house.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just don't think she's going to be able to do it. She's not like me. She's not like, I would stab him in his throat while he slept and then hide the body in the yard, but that's just me.
I wouldn't go yard, by the way. Not the best move. We got to talk about your murder skills. Not very good. By the way, Ken, I'm just obsessed with bagel wagon. I think it's such a good idea. I love bagel.
Love it.
Love bagel wagons.
How are bagels doing these days? You know, I know a lot of people have gone the no carb craze.
This motherfucker don't know
They
anything
still
about
crush
carbs.
us.
I know. Look, but there's nothing that compares to a hot buttered toasted bagel.
There's the kind that have the cheese already built inside of the bagel, and
Cooked
then
in.
yes, and then you put extra cream cheese on there. And if you want to get a little bit fucking saucy, you can dip that biatch in the sauces of your choice.
Okay.
Jaybird got me the best bagel on Monday when I was hungover. It was an everything bagel from a place downtown West Palm called McKeb's.
It's a good place.
McKeb's can fuck up a bagel.
Everything bagel I love. I love a raisin bagel. I love a cinnamon bagel. I just love bagels, man. Yeah, so did you ask me a question about bagels? Or am I just going on a bagel rant?
Where am I?
We're talking about them
He,
bagel boys.
he lost his place in the
I
world.
blacked out with bagels.
Yeah.
Snacked out. Oh.
Took over.
Black snacked out.
John has got an email about a Florida Man, a new Netflix series that is starting on April 13th. The show is about a disgraced cop with gambling debts who takes a mission from a Philly mobster to return his girlfriend to him safely in exchange for having his debts wiped clean. And then the previews, you can see he starts banging the mobster's girlfriend that he's supposed to be returning safely. So I'm
Never
sure that
good.
causes problems.
Never good.
But John said, I thought a Florida Man show should always be in the style of 1,000 Ways to Die. And I agree. When I saw Florida Man, it grabbed my attention because I'm like, oh, Florida Man, it's like whacked out news. No, not at all. I mean, this could be, I don't know, this could be called anything. You could call it Tim. You know,
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it's Florida Man like we know
no,
Florida
it's
Man.
Not. It doesn't even speak to what Florida Man is. And I'm kind of bummed that they stole the name Florida Man for something that's not related to Florida Man. So I'm kind of like, fuck you, Netflix.
I feel like they don't know what Florida Man means.
I don't know. Maybe when you get into the show, but I can't see what the premise and I watched the trailer, which is about 3 minutes long, and watch. I'm like, this has nothing to do with Florida Man, and he's right. It should be a bunch of individual stories. I mean, imagine all the best whacked out news stories we've ever had. If you did a whole recreation in one episode,
that's what our Florida Man video is.
that would be awesome.
That would be so
It'd
cool.
be hysterical because you'd be like, oh my gosh, and it would speak to what Florida Man is. It would make Florida Man and the legacy greater. This is going to just confuse and be like, I don't get it, Florida Man.
So 2 questions, because you are the missing piece. Are you okay with drinking a beer or like a liquor on camera? Are you okay with that? Okay.
Yeah, I'm okay.
And second question, how naked, with obviously covering up your privates, how much will you go on camera?
I don't know. I'm trying to keep as many clothes on these days as I can.
That's why we have these conversations. You want to keep a modest look, and I respect that. I'm not trying to Weinstein
not
you.
the exhibition days anymore.
Understood. That's why we're having this conversation. I remember those days.
Yeah.
I miss those days.
Trying to move past that. You know, some of those photos have wound up on the family reel, and it's odd. It's just
okay. So, but
feels kind of awkward.
Okay, so you'd go like a wife beater kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Can I say that? Is that shirt been canceled?
Yeah, I think you can't say that anymore.
What do you call them?
A muscle tee.
That rolls right off.
Tiny.
That rolls right off the tongue.
GTL. Look.
What do you even call that now?
I'd still go wife beater, but I'm not evolved.
You're the real Florida man.
I'm a wife, so I take offense.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so you do a WB, as they say in the business.
WB. Warner Brothers?
No.
Wife beater. You okay? You won't even do that. All right.
I'll wear it,
all right, perfect.
Yeah.
All
I'm
right.
cool with wearing that. Yeah. I'll wear it and say it.
Just won't do it.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'd like to
Just
see
because
you.
I say it doesn't mean,
If you step to your wife, she would end you.
Yeah, she would. You kidding me?
Snap that little neck.
Yeah, I wouldn't stand a chance. Matt sent an email. He said, I always listen to the podcast using the Apple Podcast app, and I've noticed recently that they've started jumping back a few seconds every now and then. I wonder if anybody else had noticed it, or is just my app that's being annoying. Yeah, I was listening to a podcast yesterday on the Apple Podcast thing, and it was doing that with me. So,
me too.
It was a different one. I wouldn't listen to KVJ. It was unrelated, so I think they must have some kind of software issues. Yeah, that's not the kind of stuff that typically we can control, unfortunately. And I know, because, look, a lot of times when you have technical issues, you're like, whatever brand you're listening to, you blame them. I know I'm guilty of that sometimes, but being in it and seeing what we can and can't control, sometimes it's not them. And I don't think that's us. I think that's Apple. So we are trying to always make tweaks to make sure our side of it runs as cleanly as it can.
Sure.
But you never know. Talking about the podcast, one story that I saw, which was rather interesting, Serial, which is a huge podcast. It really kind of broke the podcasting genre out and made people aware of, wait, what is this? This is an audio show only I listen to? Okay,
I can't believe I love murder. I can't believe this.
Yeah.
It's an audio soap opera.
Yeah, it is.
But it's real.
Yeah, and it really kind of launched the genre. And the story that got it going was the murder conviction of Adnan Syed, who made it famous starting all the way back in 1999, or at least that's when he was accused of murdering his classmate, Hae Min Lee. And I think it was in September, October, November, somewhere around there, an appellate court in Maryland, I guess, wound up releasing him and saying, oh my gosh, we didn't get this right. But apparently a new hearing is going to be scheduled. And it's possible that Syed might actually have to go back to prison because apparently Hae Min Lee, her family was not there in the courtroom when they overturned the murder conviction. They said apparently by law they would have to be, or at least be invited. And so it looks like they're going to have to redo it and reboot it. I mean, imagine he'd been in prison for that long. 20 plus years, then freed, and then now they're going, yeah, we're going to have to bring you back in.
How the hell do you miss that oversight?
Great question. I think they filed a petition and said, hey, look at this. And their attorney found it and said, yeah, you guys have to be present for something like that. And they weren't feeling it. And so they're going to have to apparently go back in front of a circuit court judge to rule whether or not he gets to stay out of prison or if he's going to go back in.
Have you ever had to be on the stand for anything where you've sat in front of a courtroom and lawyers ask you questions? Has that ever happened?
Only mock trial, but not a real thing.
I just did it.
So you were legit on the stand?
Yeah.
How dare you cross-examine it?
Being cross-examined by a group of liars, the lawyer and the whole family. And they were coming for me, and they lost.
So they do the whole thing. We now call Mrs. Virginia the Witch Sinicki
Yep.
to the stand.
I had to walk from where I sat at the table with the lawyers in Magnolia, walk in front of where the judge was in her robe. I had to raise my right hand and swear to tell the truth.
I would take it seriously, but it would be so hard for me not to try to work in a couple of lines from Few Good Men into just whatever they ask me. It would be hard not to.
Your lawyer would be mad at you for doing that.
I think I could do it in a way where I'd be slick about it.
No, you wouldn't. They don't like funny. They don't like silly. They don't like stupid.
No.
The lawyers and the judge have no patience for any of that. The judge really had no patience for it, and she was not having any of their tomfoolery.
I thought they wanted the truth, though.
She did, and that's why she said they lost.
Damn, I set you up. You can't even do the line.
I'm not doing that. Stupid.
Liza in the chat room said, Kev, sorry to report, but your boy Cole Hauser's new movie, Ritual Killer, is horrible with a capital H. You know, oddly enough, I find joy in that. I'm happy to hear that it sucks because I, in a sense, don't really want his other career to take off, so he leaves Yellowstone. Because imagine if he landed a huge movie and he'd be like, yeah, I don't need this shit anymore. I love him on Yellowstone.
So you want all of his other projects
I kind of want
to
all of his
flop.
other shit to tank. Yeah, I'm sorry, Cole, but yeah, I you know, at least until Yellowstone's done its full run, and then you could have success in other movies. But yeah, not till then.
Well, keep him humble.
I usually love
honestly. Haven't you seen that? Have you ever had a favorite show and the actor got too big and then they take off and it freaking ruins your show, kind of like The Office?
Yes, absolutely.
That can happen.
I think we like shows because we fall in love with the characters.
Sure.
And if you kill off a character or a
Yeah.
character leaves, that can massively affect the show.
It would radically affect if they got rid of Rip Wheeler or Kevin Costner's character. It would radically, or Beav and Beth. I mean, yeah, it's driven by characters. Any of those three go, and I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that show.
People try to say, oh, yeah, no, they still had some good episodes after Steve Carell left The Office. Yeah, whatever. That's fine. The show was just, it wasn't even close to being what it was.
Right. So I'm glad to hear his new movie sucks. I think it's awesome. A couple other things going on the pipeline TV-wise. They say The White Lotus is heading to Thailand for season 3, and I guess the first season was supposed to be about money. Second season was about sex or something like that, and this is supposed to be about spiritual awakening. And honestly, I gotta tell you, The White Lotus is one of those shows. The longer I am from it, the less good I think it was.
I didn't like it at all.
Yeah,
I watched about 5 episodes and I just could not get into it.
I think what happened was so many people, the hype, and that's what sucked me in. I was like, gosh, everybody's talking about this and how amazing it was. And I was always like, that's okay. And now that I've watched all of them, I'm like,
That's how I felt about The Watcher. Remember? Everybody was like, oh my God, you got to watch The Watcher. I love Jennifer Coolidge. So I was
Yeah.
like, yes, give me The Watcher. In the beginning, it was good, but the end was so stupid and unresolved and left me
Right.
hanging. I was like, what is this?
And perhaps sometimes I feel like maybe even like a relationship mentally. I wasn't just in White Lotus. Maybe I didn't want to watch it. I was kind of watching it just to report back to the show. But I was losing interest quickly with every episode that I watched, and it was kind of a slow burn for me.
Not a lot really happens in it. To
I
be
wanted
honest
to
with
like
you.
it so bad, because I love HBO programming.
Yeah.
It did not kick me in the dick like I like
Yeah,
it.
so I'm not sure how pumped I am, and I really, unless it's just so fantastic. White Lotus 3, I don't know if I'm jumping back into that ride. I'm kind of good. The X-Files looks like it's getting rebooted.
Really?
All right.
Are Gillian Anderson and what's his name?
David Duchovny.
David Duchovny. He's hot.
Doesn't sound like it. The director of Creed and the Black Panther movies, Ryan Coogler, is going to be doing this, and it's going to have a new diverse cast. So it doesn't sound like they're going to be there. But that wasn't one of those shows where I had to have Mulder and Scully to enjoy it. To me, just the mystery of the aliens and what you could get into, I could see a new cast and enjoying a new X-Files.
Because isn't X-Files like a James Bond situation? Anybody can come back and take those roles into the X-File world?
It's just, people that are FBI, CIA, whatever the hell they were in, or just a special department, and they're investigating alien type stuff. To me, that was the storyline was the star, not necessarily the characters.
But don't come back as Mulder and Scully. Come back as two different agents.
New names, and it's the X-Files continuing on.
Yes, that
Come back
could
as
work.
Scolder and Molly.
I'm not against it. It's goofy. It's more of a comedy.
That was for you.
I love it.
And I thought this was interesting. I haven't heard a lot of people talking about John Wick Chapter 4. I did initially read that apparently the critics at least were loving it, so I'm hoping it's great. It did well at the opening box office. I've enjoyed the series by a lot. And this is kind of interesting thing. Keanu Reeves only says 380 words in nearly 3 hours of movie in John Wick Chapter 4. And he only said 484 words in 101 minutes during the original movie. And I guess that's by design. He thinks he should be, more action, less talk. He's a guy of few words. So they're even looking at the dialogue, be like, yeah, he doesn't need to say that. Like, cut that from 10 words down to 2.
I like when they do that sometimes.
Yeah.
Wish they would have done that with Boba Fett, Virginia. But I will not go on a rant.
Oh, yeah. Edit thyself, Bubba.
Thank you.
Yep. So that was one thing that they had done there. So, yeah, if anybody has seen the new John Wick movie, let me know how good it is, because there might be time this weekend where, if I did have it, do I go out to watch it in a theater, or I just kind of chill and pump the brakes and wait for it to come out on streaming?
I want to see that one, Everything to Everyone, All at Once, or whatever, that won all those awards.
Yeah.
Is that the name of it?
Something like that. It's a very confusing name. I don't think I nailed it. It was playing at the PGA Theater.
How do I Google that? Everything, anything, everyone.
All at Once.
Really confusing
It's a
title.
confusing
I know. I
title.
am the same way. And the other movie that was big at the Academy Awards, I actually watched, and I think it's on Netflix. I think that's where I watched it. All Quiet on the Western Front. If you do like war movies, and I had listened to podcasts about World War I, which, my gosh, we don't have perspective because it happened before our lifetimes, but you want to talk about a miserable 4 years. I can't imagine. I think the ultimate hell that humanity's probably ever seen was in that war.
Oh, collectively now we're pussies. We have no idea how rough it was.
It brings a lot of that out. So I thought that was a pretty solid movie. So I did enjoy that.
I do love a war movie. I have one I'd like to suggest to you. I don't know if you're going to like it.
Give it to me, baby.
Okay, Uncommon Valor.
I've heard of it.
Patrick Swayze movie.
Okay.
It's kind of a B-side.
Uh-huh.
You'll hate it. Never mind. It's a bad idea.
Not going to be Academy Award winning material.
No.
Like I bring an Academy Award winning movie and
You're not going to like it.
You're the yin and the yang.
he brings in a bargain bin VHS tape.
It's really basically just a low-budget Rambo. They go back to...
Patrick Swayze didn't even like it.
I don't know if he did. It's really it's an off-beaten path of a Swayze movie.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go. There's some ideas and things for you to check out. Appreciate all your emails. You can always send them in to us, mail@kvjshow.com. Have a great day. We'll see you back here tomorrow.